Today I'm going to show you how to create a self-grading quiz. It doesn't have to be self-grading quiz assignment in Google Classroom, but that's certainly a nice feature. So go into Classwork, click on Create Quiz Assignment. You'll go ahead and title it. In this case, I'm just going to call it Quiz 3. Give it some instruction if you choose. And then you can click on the blank quiz to start creating it right there, or you could have added a already existing quiz from your Google Drive. In this case, we're going to build it right in the moment. Again, you name it. And Google Quizzes always starts, or Google Forms start with an untitled question, which is multiple choice. So you can go ahead and continue to fill it out or change it to a different question type using the drop-down arrow to the right. Once you're finished with that, with your first question, you're going to provide the answer key to know which one is the correct answer for the self-grading part, as well as designate a point value for that particular question. A feature that can be useful at times is to answer or add feedback to whatever response the kids provided. If it was incorrect, you could type them a message. You could attach a website link, or you could go in and search for a particular YouTube video, maybe to reteach that concept. And then there's also an area for correct answers, which can be kind of a fun way to motivate kids if they got it correct. Make sure that you make the question required. Go ahead and start building out the rest of your quiz. And over here, I'm showing you where there's different types of questions you can add. Short answer will provide the option for an answer key where you can type in all of the possible variants of what would be a correct answer. You have to use this cautiously because you would have to sort of think out what students might write and how they might spell things, and it is case sensitive. So you would want to try to find any or think ahead about any possible options the kids would write in there that would still be acceptable to you. For any of these, even if they're self-grading, you can always override. If they did write a response that you did not anticipate, you can always give them credit. Now I'm going to go ahead and create another question, and this is a paragraph. Paragraph cannot be self-grading, but you do need to put some sort of point value on it. And this allows you to provide a variety of point values per question, depending on how important it is to your quiz. So once you've got all of the questions that you want, you'll see that it calculates the total point value at the top. I'll show you some of the settings for a quiz. This is already set to be within PVUSD. And respondents are set to blank because it knows it's a quiz. And the locked mode would only work if the kids were using Chromebooks at the school. For distance learning, I would keep that off because it's not clear what device they may or may not be using. The release grades refers to whether or not the students would see their scores right when they submit and view their scores, or whether you would need to do manual review. I prefer to set it for manual review if you're going to have any short answers. That way the kids aren't deceived into thinking they have the score wrong when they actually do have it correct. The other options are whether or not you want them to see the questions they missed, whether you want them to see the questions they missed and their correct answers, and whether you want to see the point value. Again, those are all options you can choose to check or uncheck. Once you've completed everything, you're going to go back into the assignment. You can close that tab. And then you're going to want to click on grade importing if you want to have it self-grade into your gradebook. And at that point, it also makes sure that they can only submit one response and that it will collect their email addresses, etc. Then you go up, and the point value you can ignore for now because it'll actually calculate based on the point value of your quiz. And then you can choose to put it in a topic. I've created quiz as one of my topics. You can choose to select all students to send this to, or a couple if you want to do 2 different quizzes or a couple variants, and send them to the appropriate kids for differentiation. You can also choose whether you want to schedule the release of this quiz, assign it in the moment, save draft, or just assign. And now you'll see it in your classwork tab. I'm going to show you what it would look like once the student sees it. So they'll see the stream was updated if it just happened in the moment. And in their stream, they'll see the new assignment. They'll click in, open up the quiz, and then they'll respond accordingly. And then they click submit when they're done. And because we set it up so that they could see their scores immediately, they can go in, and we allowed them to see what they got wrong, what the right one was. They'd see their feedback. And then the one that is still needing manual review would be set to no score at the moment. And now let's pop back to see what it looks like from the teacher's perspective. Once a student has taken it, you'll be able to see who has. And then you can click to open it. And you have to look down at the bottom in this little edit pencil to actually see the responses part of it. So you click in there, and it'll give you analytics. Now, once you have a bunch of kids taking it, this will make more sense, but right now we only have one student that took it. And then you can go question by question. So if you had a bunch of kids and you wanted to manually review it, you could go per question, or you could do it per student. If you want to override a grade, because in this case the kid got the correct term, just didn't spell it correctly or say it the right way, and then you click save whenever you have to change or manually review. Make sure you do that. The point value will show up and will recalculate. And then you can choose to release the score, which is really just the grade within Google Classroom. They did already see their score, but now they'll see the updated version of their score after the manual review. Then you want to go back in. Once you've graded everybody, or at any point, you click on that import grades to actually have it show up in your grade book. And it again will recalculate based on the number of points. It'll change the point value of that assignment. And at the time that you are sending back to one student, you could also throw in a comment to them if you were to release them one by one or return the grade one by one. Now let's go see what it looks like for the student. They will go back in to see their updated score, and it'll show at the top. They'll see the comment that you wrote when you return that student's score. And then although you click into it, it'll say you've responded, but now they can go down and see the updated score and see that the teacher had overridden the wrong answer, the auto-graded one, as well as given point value to the short answer or paragraph one. That's how you do a self-graded quiz within Google Classroom.